G'day everybody, hope you're all well. This is coming to you from, not from Sydney, as you can see with the different background here, guys. Just taking a break up the coast, doing some work as well. Still trading, but probably doing some fishing and boating and a bit of surf and beach and ice creams and all those fun things. But I wanted to start the week with you guys, just basically kicking off with a run at the top 10 because a little bit has happened that I think is quite interesting. Looking at Bitcoin here, you'll note what we've been seeing, right? The higher low here, another higher low here. Now at the same time, we had slightly lower highs running through, okay? But it wasn't of interest, sorry, it really wasn't of too much of a surprise to see us pop up to a new higher high within this little micro trend. If we look at the 12 hour, although not a great trend, you can certainly see there's the higher low, and now we have definitely cleared to a new higher high. It's kind of breaking through that $4,000 mark with a little bit more gusto than we have done in the past, which is really nice to see. Now, of course, from my point of view, realistically, let's go to the daily, until we've broken up through this level, this upper 43.85 level, I'm still, we're still just in this range, okay? A break up through there would get me bullish, a break down through there would have me bearish. And for the time being, we remain within that range. So I just keep an eye on what's going on there. Still very nice to see Bitcoin have a pop. Something else to note is that I want to see how this holds, if it holds, and what goes on from here forth. The reason being is that 15 minutes sort of held the majority of that move. And we had seen last year, I think it was sort of through August, October, anyway, back throughout a certain part of last year, we'd see these wild spikes. Now the spikes were quite often met, obviously in a bear market, with the sell-off soon following after and giving back all of that move. That's why I'm very keen to see what happens today. Do we pull back or do we continue on? Do we see it back to where we started, or do we see it sort of consolidate? I'm just very interested to see how Bitcoin plays out from here. Ethereum didn't have too much of a day so far. I mean, we do have another hour or so before all of these 24-hour candles close, and as you can see, quite a bit of green across the board. Ethereum, not a great deal going on, just consolidating up around these old highs here, guys, as you can see through here on this daily. It did have a good good end to last year, and it continued that run throughout the start of this year, last week, but not a great deal going on right now, only up 1%. Bitcoin Cash, look, a very, very lackluster looking chart, very ugly indeed. EOS trying to break through, but again, we are still stuck in that consolidation, and therefore not a great deal to be interested in. One of the charts I do like, which is up just around that 11% mark today, is Cardano, or however you want to pronounce it. It's pushed higher, low, higher, 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 low, higher, high. And if we have a look at the 4 hour now, this cycle, this trend is starting to look quite inviting indeed. We have a look at the 8 hour, you'll actually see there's the high, high, here's a higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, moving on quite nicely. And it's definitely one that I am keeping an eye on. Although no trading opportunities just yet, it's got a nice trend there, and that's what I'm after. We see up 7% here on Stellar Lumen, but the problem is it's still very sideways, not really of interest. NEO, higher, low, higher, high, popped a little bit there too, but once again, it's very early days here. I'd like to see it pull back, get that higher low and another push on for that trend before I really get too pumped about trading that with any leverage. IOTA again, we've got this pullback in after last year's nice little push to the upside against the dollar. Nice recovery there from sort of 20 cents up to 38, nearly doubling. Well, it did double at one point. It's back in that cradle zone. It's just too big of a candle for me. And on those mid-term timeframes, there's nothing of interest there. Ripple, one of the more boring of the charts, to be absolutely honest with you guys. Very sideways, waiting to see what goes on from there after a big move last year, pulling back somewhat. And finally, Litecoin, the cream of the crop on the top 10. A really nice looking trend, higher low, two higher lows, a really nice push on. Now, if we compare that to Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin here. Here's the two higher lows. We haven't pushed onto that new higher high, whereas Litecoin has done exactly that. It'd be nice to see Bitcoin follow suit with Litecoin, as quite often when Bitcoin moves, Litecoin moves quite closely with it. Be interesting to see if that does continue on. It is one of the pairs that I like the most today. That's where you'll see the Fibonacci levels drawn in right here. I had them drawn in yesterday as well. Didn't quite pull back far enough. If I can get a trade back around this $38 mark, a little cradle perhaps, a little bullish candle in and around that zone, that's the sort of thing I'm looking for, whether it be the 2 hour or the 4 hour. Also worthwhile going and having a look at Litecoin against Bitcoin. Guys, have a fantastic start to your week. Speak to you again later on. Cheers, guys. Bye for now.